see them everywhere, perhaps where you live. Private ambulances waiting to help people in need. They're at sporting events, they're at concerts, festivals, and at nursing homes. Well, tonight our I-Team investigates who is protecting the public on these private ambulance rides. The answer disturbing, and it's about to change. Investigative reporter Chuck Kennedy is here with the story.
Ellen, this situation is code red. Illinois' lax regulation of private ambulance workers. In this state, even dog walkers face tougher background checks than private EMS employees. The I-Team started looking into this last March after an ambulance smashed into a suburban building, killing all on board. Considered the worst private ambulance crash in state history.
I've had dreams about him, and I can see him. I can see him, and I don't want to wake up.
Dora Williams tonight is haunted by the death of her husband. They'd been married 30 years. Mrs. Williams says her husband, Prentice, was studying to be an EMT last March when this happened. He had been helping ambulance driver James Wesley transport a kidney dialysis patient when the vehicle careened out of control into a building. Williams, the patient, Larry Marshall Jr., and driver Wesley all died. An I-Team investigation revealed Wesley had cocaine in his system at the time of the crash and that he was an ex-con with a rap sheet, including a drug conviction that he didn't disclose, which would appear to have disqualified him from having a state emergency medical technician license. A lawyer representing the former ambulance company told the I-Team Wesley was not authorized to take the ambulance.
If people really knew how little background checking the state agencies do for these licensed professionals, they would be shocked and outraged.
Attorney Tom Zimmerman represents Dora Williams in legal action related to the crash. Zimmerman says it's appalling the state doesn't do even a cursory check on EMTs in Illinois, instead depending on the honor system, taking their word for it.
There may be other EMTs who are just as unqualified as this driver was, who are out there putting people's lives at risk.
Currently, as part of the Illinois licensing requirement, EMT and paramedic applicants are required to reveal felony convictions, many of which might disqualify them. But the state doesn't do background checks to see if applicants are being truthful. According to Illinois Health Department records, Wesley, the driver in this case, did not reveal his past felonies. And without a background check, the state never knew he was an ex-con. On average, there are 4,500 ambulance crashes in the U.S. each year, killing 33 people. In Illinois, the latest state figures reveal ambulance accidents have nearly doubled in the past 5 years.
Many employers, do the best that they can to make sure that their folks are properly licensed.
Illinois State Ambulance Association President Chris Vandenberg, who also owns 3 ambulance companies, says while crashes such as this one in Bellwood are rare, they point to a lack of state oversight. He says the burden ends up on employers who may choose to do background checks and random drug testing at their own expense.
It's probably not the best way of handling it because I might do the background check, but there might be another company down the road that just says, geez, no, I just need to put an EMT or a paramedic in the seat here.
There's a loophole that needs to be closed.
The state health director says that honor system loophole would be closed under new legislation his agency is drafting as a result of ongoing I-Team reports.
Anyone who's applying for a new license or renewal will have to undergo the fingerprint-based background check that we're going to be moving toward adopting.
We have to be certain that the individual's competent. We have to be sure they're going to function in an ethical way. We have to assure on an ongoing basis that they pose no risk to the public.
If legislation passes, Illinois would fall in line with half the nation that is already doing background checks on ambulance licensees. A change too late for the 3 men who died in this crash last March.
Incidences like the one that occurred earlier this year, as well as others that have occurred, have exposed this loophole, and we think it's time that we close it.
There are 65,000 licensed EMS workers in Illinois who would be required to undergo background checks under the legislation that state health officials hope to have introduced in the next session of the General Assembly. And part of that proposal would allow amnesty for ambulance workers who may have failed to disclose previous felonies under the honor system. They wouldn't be prosecuted for lying, but certainly could end up losing their jobs.
But until that changes, like you said, dog walkers face tougher scrutiny than these ambulance.
And a number of other license holders in Illinois.